The last day of the month is here. Right, we're gonna roll on into May. In case you are not aware, just because I don't want to let you down, make sure you realize that next week, next Sunday, not as in this Sunday, but next Sunday, kiddos, is Mother's Day. So I have already got my mom a nice little goodie. And this is just a good plug to remind you that cutting toxic people out of your life saves you money on gifts. Just a friendly reminder. So before I cut out toxic people out of my life, it costs more money because you have to buy Mother's Day gifts and Christmas gifts and gifts to give gifts. Such a money saver. So I should make a slogan. Invest in your future by cutting toxic people out of your life. Just think about every time you would have bought someone a gift that you were just doing it to make face, just put that money right into a savings account. You'll be retired in no time. It'll be beautiful. So going into this day, it's going to be a beautiful day. I can feel it. It's resonating in the bone marrow of my soul. Actually, I don't think my soul has bone marrow, but it's doing that some way. I'm super excited. I've got chaos going on. I thrive on chaos. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in a second. But first, I want to share this beautiful little quote that I saw. I need to find it again and save it and post it, but I'm totally like lopsided. Okay, here we go. Let me set it up here so I can read it to you. So beautiful, so delicious, so delicious. Walk tall in your gifts, be the wise woman you needed as a child. Speak lovingly to your fearful parts. Let them know the soul is leading and souls don't lie. I love it. I seriously love it. I was like, ooh, be the wise woman you needed as a child. Who? I don't know, right? Who needed that? For sure, me. I mean, I don't know what your childhood was like, but mine was rough. Lots of stuff, right? If I look back, like I had a horrible relationship with my dad. Sexual molestation, not from my dad, but from a family member. I just had such a hard time in school, being bullied. Man, right? Growing up kind of sucks, really. And then you think like you'll become an adult and it'll all go away. Good morning, Lisa. And then you realize that some adults are just as big of a piece of as kids are when it comes to people being mean. Okay. But what an awesome quote. I love that. All right. So I used to have this thought in my head because we're going to talk about chaos and don't relive. Don't relive things. What are we reliving? Well, you don't have to share publicly, Amber, but I mean, if you want to, I'd be happy to, give you my opinion, mentor you along, whatever. I'm a pro. I'm a professional at chopping people out of my life. If you don't believe me, just ask some of them. They're all incredibly pissed. I am a jerk. You got it, but you have to be willing to be the jerk. If you want to cut people out of your life, you have to be willing to wear the jerk card. It's just how it rolls. Okay, so chaos. My life is so chaotic right now. Like it literally is what I call a hot mess express. I just have so much stuff going on. I know I keep joking about it, but no, this is my fresh out of frick shirt. It's not new. It just says fresh out of fricks. I don't have a car, which seems really simplistically petty to me, but get rid of your vehicle for a while and see how much you miss it. To not be able to just jump into my car and run to the grocery store or get myself to work or whatever, I have to coordinate rides. Ah, yes, past experiences. Court is a fantastic place. Just so you're aware. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, Amber. Yeah, like, it's like, hey, I got to coordinate rides with people, figure out how to get myself home. Good morning, Stacy. It's really a little traumatizing. And then I'm catching myself looking at truck porn. Honestly, like so I catch myself on YouTube, like Googling the truck that I'm trying to get. So I can just look at it and be like, oh, it's coming one of these days, right? Like I know it's supposed to be built and done on the 17th of May, but then it also has to travel from the factory on a train probably. And then it has to come from the train in Salt Lake all the way to my little town. And so who knows? I'll be lucky. I'm manifesting at this point that I'm hoping to have a car again by the end of May. But anyway, so that's a little chaotic. Lots of chaos going on at my job, which is fine because I'm really good at managing through that. And I'm going to tell you how. So I'm really good at managing through stuff. I don't get overwhelmed. I don't get anxiety when my plate gets full. I don't, and in the past I would get really anxious. I would start feeling my heart racing and I would be overwhelmed and not know how to deal with anything. So like right now, I mean, I even made a TikTok last night. My house is a freaking mess. My yard is a freaking mess. But you know why though? Because I've chosen to let it be like that because I'm putting all of my extra time that I don't even have and all of my energy into my business. In fact, I looked at my schedule. I'm booked out through the end of May. I'm 4 weeks out with my clients because it's just thriving. But by the way, so if you're like, I wanted to get in a session, send me an email because I always have little spots that I have chunked, blocked out just because like if I'm going to do a podcast interview with someone or I'm going to do whatever, then I have little spots, little emergency places that I can place people. So just send me a message and I'll find you a place. Anyway, that's where I'm dedicating my life to right now is my passion. And so I'm okay with that. I just learned at some point that things are not worth freaking out about. Okay. And so this is the question that I asked myself. If I were to die tomorrow, what actually matters to me? Really? Somebody will come and clean my house for me if I die. Probably, maybe, probably. So I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm 100% certain that when I die, there is not going to be anyone standing there being like, I am so sorry, my friend. You cannot have whatever this eternal amazingness is because your house is not clean enough. So I learned to just focus on what actually matters, and it allows me to lift a ton of weight off my shoulders. I live in the moment right now. I'm not focused on what's going to happen in the future because half of the time when I start thinking about what's going to happen, it doesn't actually happen. And then I'm focused on stressing out over all this stuff. Like when COVID started, I caught myself doing that and I was like, whoa, right? And now here we are a year later. I don't think half of what I thought was going to be happening happens. Doesn't mean that everything is perfect, but I'm definitely not living in a tent in my backyard somewhere fighting for my life. So I mean, I really can let my mind starts going crazy and lots of craziness happens. And when we live in fear and we're worried about stuff, it stops us from progressing. So think about, what is your mind telling you that is a lie? Because we just have all these past agreements in our head. Where did I learn that having a clean house was part of being a complete person? Where in my past did I learn that I have to be a perfect mom and I can't make any mistakes? Where in the past did I learn that marriage is supposed to be non-confrontational and super perfect, and that you're just going to get along really great and there's not going to be any hiccups? Where in the past did I learn that, I mean, you can use this with anything, right? That I didn't go to college. And so, I mean, I see that with my clients a lot. I'll have, especially mamas that come to me and they're like, well, I was going to school and then I got married and I started having kids. So I never finished my degree. And so I feel like I didn't complete my path. There's actually a trapped thought that I run across all the time, and it's not hitting milestones in your life that you had expectations for, right? Because when you're a little kid, you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to graduate from high school. Then I'm going to graduate from college. Then I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. And then I'm going to have this great job and yada, yada, yada. And you got to roll with it. You got to be flexible. That's how you deal with chaos, because what really is perfect? It's some kind of stupid thought that you have. And guess what? Thoughts are just made up. It's just what we create our reality to be. But when you think about it in a higher dimension, none of this is actually really, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. If you're going to focus on anything, focus on joy. That's all that really matters. You can be joyful in the moment. You can have gratitude. The rest of it just doesn't really matter. But we're so worried, right? Oh, if I were to get a divorce, what would everyone think? My kid is doing such and such. I remember, I mean, I love my mom, but I remember once I was like, can I go do this? And she's like, no. And I'm like, why? And she said to me, I think this was me asking if I could go camping with my friends when I was in high school. And my mom was like, no. And I'm like, why can't I? And she's like, what do you think the neighbors are going to think about this? And I was like, what? I don't care what the neighbors think. And Dave told me, like, his mom was horrible about this, which is sad because it makes you do things, like it makes you hide what you're doing because she's so worried about what the neighbors are going to think. And he would tell me, like, my mom sends stuff like, well, what are the neighbors going to think if you guys are out, if the neighbors see that my kids are smoking, or the neighbors see that my kids are whatever. I don't care what the neighbors think. I've had my mom say that too. Like, we've had blowups at our house and we have people renting the basements. And my mom's always like, what do you think your renters thought? I'm like, I don't give a shit what my renters think. Hello, if my renters want to come and say something, I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, we're human beings. And sometimes people in my house have confrontations with each other. I got a 20-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 5-year-old, a husband, and a dog. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Sometimes people get angry with each other. And I've got a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and my 17-year-old's like 6'3". So yeah, sometimes they get into it. And when the brawling starts, I'm worried about my walls getting holes in them. What if we were all just a little more honest about the things that we're going through? How beautiful would that be, right? It wouldn't feel shameful when I feel like my life isn't going the way that I think everyone else thinks it needs to be. But blow that stuff out of your head. There is no perfect way to do something. When I was a pilot in the military, and then when I got out, I had a business that I was running. And I had consultants that were selling my product, and I was so burned out. And there was a part of me that hung onto it for way too long. I should have let it go like way before then, but I didn't want to look like or feel like a failure. And so I kept onto it, even though it was financially just draining me and mentally draining me. And then at one point I was like, I just got to be done with this. And of course, looking back, things happen in the perfect moment, right? So I decided that I would sell my business and that I would go work for Campbell's. And when I first applied for this job, I was applying for a lead. I wanted to be a shift lead. And so I had applied for that. And then during the application process, they came back and said, oh, corporate has put this position on hold. So we're not actually hiring for it anymore. And it's frozen. Well, by now, like I've got it into my mind, right, that I'm quitting my business. I've got it up for sale. Like I have an escape route. And so I'm committed mentally, and I just am not passionate about what I'm doing anymore. And I'm having like health issues because I'm stressing out. I hadn't gotten into energy healing yet. So I'm just really a mess. So I decide that I'm just going to go take a production job at this company, a manufacturing production job. And so I did. And my intent here was I'm going to go in because I want to get into the company so that I can find other opportunities. And I remember my sister telling me, I would never do something like that. I can't believe that you've taken a job at that level. And I was like, okay, well, that's the difference between you and I. I have no issue working as a production worker. Like, I don't care. And it's a step back to get to a step further. And sometimes that's what you have to do to progress. And so what did I do, right? I got in, and within a month, a quality position had come open. And that's not even where I was going to apply. In fact, to be quite honest with you, I had not a clue what even quality was. So I was able to get into a quality position and it ended up working out beautifully. And now I love my job and I've been able to progress in what I'm doing. And it's become a beautiful balance between what I'm doing with my energy healing business and what I'm doing at work. And so, ultimately, sometimes fear prevents us from doing things because, I could have looked at it and been like, well, I'm scared that I'm going backwards. And that's tough, right? I was a pilot, then I was a business owner, and now I'm going back to a position that I could have had when I first came out of high school. But it's okay because it doesn't really matter. That's just a thought in my head that there's something wrong with that. Clear out the lies. Clear out the expectations. That's just a stupid thought. What if I would have listened to myself? Ooh, I can't do that. That's below me. I'm going backwards. I feel like I'm not progressing. When actually the step backwards shot me out of a cannon into something beautiful. So be careful what your mind is telling you because it lies to you. Now, as far as dealing with chaos, how do I deal with so much chaos and how do I manage my life? Because I have a lot on my plate. I really just don't care. And I know that sounds crazy because I used to have it in my head. Well, if I don't care and I just let things slide, then I'm going to miss the boat or I'm not going to be able to get as much done as I need to. When in reality, the opposite happens. When you don't care, you don't have all this weight on your shoulders and you don't have all this stress. So you actually do your job better. You actually manage your life better because you have a clear state of mind and you don't have this ball and chain of stress driving the show. So when I let the anxiety go, I'm able to manage the chaos so much better. And then I can actually get things done 3 times as fast because I'm not focused on the stress of getting them done. I know that seems so crazy, but it has this opposite reverse effect and it's really cool. So breathe in and let it go. Just let it go. You do not get anywhere by obsessing about things. And that's how I thought it needed to be. If I didn't obsess about it, then I would miss something. I wouldn't get it done right. And no, being relaxed and not caring, you don't miss things. You actually see things more clearly and you get them done better. Okay, guys, socks. I'm giving away the socks. Lynette Johnson, you are the winner of the socks. I don't know where they are. They're the Sally socks. So if you want me to, I will ship them to you. Just message me your mailing address. I'm going to the post office today. So I have socks going out to Michelle and Lisa and hopefully Lynette. Those are people that I still owe shipping socks to. It's hard to get to the post office when you don't have a car. Okay. And then socks that I'm wearing today. Oh yeah. And the socks that I'm giving away. Let's do that. Okay. Yes. So it's my fresh out of Fricks. Okay. I'm wearing these socks for no rhyme or reason. I just feel like it. Okay. I just want to. Yes. Then these are the socks we're giving away next. They are so stinking cute. Are you ready? Oh my gosh, you complete me. The sun's coming in. It's hard to see. Avocado with a little baby avocado. Oh, word. They're pink. They're so cute. Great for Mother's Day. All right, there you go. I got to go to work. Okay, love you guys. Have a great day.